did Jesus know God's plan for that specific day? That's a big question. How did Jesus know what he was supposed to do on that specific day? 5 ways. Number 1, he had an intimate and perseverant life of prayer. He spoke with his Father, and his Father revealed to him what his will was for that particular day. 2nd, Jesus studied the Scriptures, and the Old Testament was filled with messianic prophecies. And Jesus studied those prophecies, and he knew when he had to act, and when he had to speak, and when he had to do, because he had a thorough knowledge of the Scriptures. We'll come back to this point a little bit later on. Number 3, by the contemplation of nature, spending time in the midst of nature. Have you noticed that most of the parables of Jesus have to do with nature? Most of the teachings of Jesus, of the will of his Father, were through parables that had to do with nature, because he spent quality time in the midst of nature, learning the lessons of nature, particularly agriculture. Many of the parables of Jesus have to do with agriculture. You know, he shared the will of God from the perspective of the things that surrounded people that people could understand. Number 4, by observing carefully the temple ritual, the rituals in the temple, and by looking at the dates for the rituals in the temple. And finally, by carefully observing every day God's providential leading as to where he should go, what he should say, and what he should do. So in 5 ways, the Father revealed his plans to Jesus. Number 1, through prayer. Number 2, through the Scriptures. Number 3, by spending quality time in the midst of nature, God's second book, according to the Spirit of prophecy. By observing the temple ritual and the Hebrew feasts, which had the dates for the different events of Christ's ministry. And finally, carefully observing who showed up on a certain day. You know, God would reveal to him, you know, this is a providential thing. This is what you need to say. This is what you need to do.